Okay. Well, everyone, how you doing? Sorry for the little bit of delay getting in. Actually, I thought it was live, and I have told a whole story for the past almost 15 minutes. That's so funny. Anyway, so here I am. I actually showed you where I am. I'm down here, and let me scroll around here really quickly and show you. Maybe it'll show up. There we go. This is where we are. I just got hit in the face by the little curtain mover. But I'm down here in Orlando, Florida. Not Orlando, my God. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And at the invitation of AVER conference, their summit. And I'm down here at their invitation. They provided a place to stay and all that kind of stuff. So I'm down here, and I think they have 20 or 30 people with whom they wish us to talk to them about. And the topic today is going to be primarily about the status of the rule change for surgical options for trans people in the military and in the Veterans Affairs, primarily in the Veterans Affairs side of things, the VA side. And we already know the answer to that. We know that it's sitting on the secretary's desk right there in DC. It's there, it's ready to go. But there's a lot of political calculations involved in deciding whether or not to go ahead and do it right now, or is this the window where you do it, or whatever. But the challenge is that you've really got to decide if you throw this thing out there, then the House is still working on all these appropriations bills, which they haven't dealt with because they can't decide on a speaker. So where we're at then is that if you throw it out, somebody's going to go in there and go, and specifically the surgery options inside the VA will remove that whole clause and take out the whole darn policy that has to do with LGBT care and transgender care. And they can do it. You think you're protected? No, you're not. You think all of those different services that the VA offers for LGBT people and minority people are protected? All Congress has to do is nullify the darn policies, defund it, or nullify it, or both. And if the policy gets left in place, all we have to do then is just say that no money shall be spent for that, effectively closing it down. So that's essentially where they're at. And that's the calculations they're having to make and decide. Okay. So they're wanting to decide whether or not this is the appropriate time to do it, because do you really want to give them another football to kick around? But on the other side of that coin, they already are doing that. They're doing it now. They're doing it in spades. They're actually, in every conceivable way, they are going after minorities in this country. And not just LGBTQ plus minorities. It's all minorities. They want to remove the diversity programs, any of the inclusion efforts. They want to remove anything to do with, recognizing bodily autonomy. And if you can do bodily autonomy or reproductive rights or any of that stuff, you can get rid of all of that kind of thing. That's what they want to do. So if we give them this football from the VA to kick around, then would it cause more damage, or should we just wait? That's a calculation that Secretary McDonough is having to make now. So that's all I can tell you about it. I know that they've got the systems in place to take care of it. They've been thinking about it for a while. They're trying to slowly implement a lot of this stuff anyway and figure out ways to get it through. But then you're going to have people inside the Congress who don't want you to have any of those services. But it's not just Congress. Let me say that right now. It's not just Congress. It's also the entire conservative movement that's out there. Yes, Secretary McDonough has got this on his desk. He's ready to roll over to the Office of Management and Budget now for publication in the registry, the Federal Registry. It's ready to go, but we can't make that calculation right now because it is too freaking dangerous. Do you give them another football to use against us? Or is this, as a friend did tell me once before, is this the right time to go ahead and just throw it out there and take care of it? Throw it out there anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I think what may be happening, and this is just me thinking about this, is just me thinking about what's going on right now. Yes, many of our people have been absolutely, they feel like they've been let down, left out, and just not, discarded. That's what it feels like. Now, speaking personally, that is not, I need none of those services. None of them. I don't need those things. But a lot of veterans that I know do, or they do want it. Okay. They do want something in that would be covered under the surgical procedures within 1341-3. If you can remove that one clause that prevents surgeries. These are life-saving surgeries, by the way. If you don't believe it, well, yeah, I don't know where you got your head stuck, but I'm going to tell you, you need to pull it out because, I mean, just simply affirming someone, letting them know who you are, and then having people support that affirmation, that kind of new family creation that another friend and I talked about this morning. Emily Schilling and I were sitting down having breakfast this morning talking about that. I think she had coffee and I had breakfast. But we were sitting there and, oh no, she had breakfast too. She did. Benedict. Yeah. So anyway, we were sitting there talking about all this. And one of the things that actually is a huge help, and this is something from Emily talking about, Emily Schilling, who's the president of Sparta, the military side, Commander Emily Schilling, Navy commander. So Emily and I were talking, and that's one of the things that she pointed out this morning that is just, I mean, the numbers are there to prove why affirming care is so freaking important. And she was saying something like 30 or 35 people that they had lost during that one window of time when it was really up in the air, and lost, I mean, in terms of lost to suicide. It was really high. It spiked really high during that time under Trump. And then once that stuff was stopped and the new president took over and Biden took over and removed those hindrances, then the suicides dropped dramatically. All because the military said, you're good people after all. You're actually doing some good stuff. And we paid a lot and put a lot of money into your training, and you're ready to go do the fighting that has to be done when you're called upon to do it. That simple affirmation saves lives. If you don't believe it, well, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's the realities of the world, okay? So that's the calculation that the Secretary McDonough is having to deal with at this point in time, is whether or not to actually put it out there, when to put it out there, or do we decide to see if we can put this football right after the next election? Do we wait until then? Because I can tell you that if we win, then definitely it would come out. I mean, if not, I'm talking about we, as in if President Biden stays in office, or someone who is on this side of the fence, on their side of the fence, I should say. And I'm speaking from an action hat, just so y'all know. So it's like, that's one of the big calculations is having to be decided right now. And I'm not sure as to what the Secretary McDonough is going through. He and I have not spoken in a little over a year, probably. But people in his office are telling me that it's still there on the desk of the secretary. But, there's a lot of calculations that have to go into place to make sure that it's actually the right time to do it politically. So that's always a big challenge. And we have to trust that he has the political kahunas to know when to do it and when's the right time. So that's really where we're at this point with the rule change part. But all this stuff, I mean, if you threw it out there, you've got people in Congress who are already putting in language into the appropriations bills to right away to defund and dismiss and eliminate offices that have to do with diversity, equity, inclusion across the whole of the federal enterprise. You've already got them in there. I mean, that's what they want to do. They're not likely to get it past the conference committee, though, just so you know, they're not likely to get it past there. They're throwing it out there. But the reason they want to throw it out there is next election, they'll bring the darn things up again. I mean, it's not going to go away. They're going to keep pushing until they get what they want. And if we give them an opportunity to do it, guess what happens? They got a playbook now that is ready to go. They have a plan. They've got a strategy. And you think I'm just talking off the top of my head about it. Well, let me tell you something. Go look up project2025.org. Go look it up. You will find out quickly that how serious they are. They put $22 million toward that project. And here's the most interesting part about it. They started in April of 2022 with this project. They brought together a bunch of conservative organizations across the country. They now have 70 to 75 people, organizations, and hundreds of people, at least 400, who have come together and created this consensus document called Mandate for Leadership Project 2025. It's a presidential transition project and program, not just a project, but a program that establishes training academies to vet people to be ready to step into the executive branch of the government. If a conservative wins in November of 2024, and then on January the 20th, they stick their hand in the air and they go, so help me God, this Project 2025 will be able to hand them lists, big lists of vetted people who have been trained and ready to take on the mantle for security clearances. I mean, all that stuff will already be checked out and they'll be ready to go. And all the new president has to do is not waste any time at all, pulling together, let's say, vetting people and getting people ready for all the offices. You know, they usually spend a couple of months, you know, right after they win or just right around when they win, they start developing teams to vet people. Well, they're not going to have to waste any time on it. All they have to do is just say, hey, Heritage, where's that list of people you got? And they'll hand it over, trained and ready to go. And then they will do what they want to do within that project, Project 2025. That's no joke, folks. There's no joke about that at all. As a matter of fact, it's coming. If that doesn't shock the crap out of you, I don't know what will. Anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I've got to talk about this same stuff here in just a little bit with AVER down here in Fort Lauderdale at their summit. I'm actually in my hotel room, as I showed you earlier. I'm in the hotel room in Fort Lauderdale. The beach is just right out there. I mean, it's right there. This hotel is right on the water. It's really, really pure, really very pretty here and beautiful here. It's stunning, really. Not too hot. It feels good outside. So anyway, that's where I stand at this point. I just wanted to bring everyone up to date. You'll have a record of this. You can keep it and look back on it and check it out. I hope you have a great day, everyone. And with that, I want to say, have a good one. I'll talk with you shortly, soon, whenever. Okay. Bye, everybody.